Hey, it's F. Gardner. A couple days ago, I got hit with a reach restriction label on my Twitter account. Yeah, it was right when I posted a video talking about Christianity being a Jewish psyop to get people to worship the Jewish God and the Jews' Torah. And I got a reach restriction label like immediately because tons of people were clicking like and retweet, and then all of a sudden, boom, I got this label preventing people from seeing my video. Yeah, so this proves my point, like how they don't want people to know about this conspiracy theory. I'll see people say that, oh, it gets censored if you say Christ is king. But no, that gets boosted. That gets shilled, advertised. All these big influencer accounts that'll post that, those will get boosted by X's algorithm or whatever. But if you say Christianity is a Jewish psyop, boom, you're hit with this reach restriction label, one of those, like what happened to me. And yeah, I'm going to elaborate and talk about this a bit more. Yeah, so like historically, think about it. Zionism wouldn't even exist today if it weren't for Christianity, because almost 100% of Zionists are Christian. And Christians will try to say, oh, well, those aren't the real Christians. Well, I think that's ridiculous because they're missing the point. It wouldn't exist, like Israel wouldn't have any power. All of Israel's funding, military support, yeah, so like financial aid, everything. It's all coming from Christianity. So look at all the other religions. It's like paganism, that's not supporting Zionism, Israel. Neither is Buddhism or other religions. But Christianity, if Christianity suddenly never existed, there would basically be no Israel today. Not like how it is with them having all this power and influence. Yeah, it wouldn't even be an issue. It wouldn't even be going on. And this is exactly how controlled opposition works. People think they're opposing something, but they're fueling something. Controlled opposition always tries to unite people under the guise of fighting against or opposing something, which is exactly what you see. All these Christians saying, oh, but we oppose Zionism. No, they're funding it. They're fueling it. If they didn't exist, if Christianity never came into existence, if it never conquered the Roman religion, like if it never theologically conquered and replaced Roman polytheism and spread throughout the earth, there would be no Zionism today. Israel would have zero power. Yeah, people get really mad if you point that out to them. And part of why I'm talking about this so much is, of course, one of my many books, one of my many horror novels, Kabbalah of the Crocodile. This book is about that. A guy in Chicago, in the horror novel, he encounters these evil rabbis where their goal is, they want Gentiles to be Christians because it tricks Gentiles into worshiping the Jewish God and obeying the Torah. And this is also the book that predicted the synagogue tunnels. And I went on a ton of podcasts about that. It's a really controversial book. It's one of my many horror novels. My horror novels can be read in any order. They're all different stories. And yeah, this is the one about this topic, the most forbidden topic of it all. Because like I said, you get censored immediately if you try talking about this on social media, especially if your stuff starts to go viral. People resharing it. That's what they really fear. People will say, Christians will often say, oh, there's nothing the Jews fear more than Jesus. No, what they fear is this, that Christianity has been controlled opposition all along. They don't want that to go viral and more people finding out about it. Yeah, so when Christians say Christ is king, that's not getting silenced. That doesn't upset them, because to the Jews, it's in private, they're like celebrating, thinking, oh, look, these Gentiles are worshiping a Jew. And people will say that, oh, Jesus wasn't Jewish. Well, what? Was he going to a Gentile exclusive synagogue? It doesn't make sense. Like I said before, you had to be Jewish to go to a temple back then, especially to teach, to be a rabbi. Yeah, so of course Jesus was a Jew. Yeah, so it's following the Jews' playbook, like following their script. And yeah, the only reason Israel has any power today is because Christianity exists. Yeah, so when Christians say Christ is king, Jews don't fear that. They fear people like me. I'm a Buddhist. I'll proudly say the Buddha is my king. Or a pagan might say Odin is their king, or Zeus is their king. That's what they don't like to hear. Because, like I said, the Talmud criticizes, it mocks paganism, polytheistic religions more than it does Christianity. Yeah, so they don't like it when you worship gods that are outside of their Torah, religions that reject the God of Israel. And Christianity does not do that. Christianity embraces both the Torah and the God of Israel. The God of Israel, it's Yahweh. And Jesus is literally called the King of the Jews. Some people will say, oh, well, King of the Jews, that's an insult. That's what they were saying to him when he was dying on the cross. Well, no, they were saying that because that was the title. Like the Magi called him the King of the Jews when they visited him when he was born. They said, oh, where is the King of the Jews? So it was used as just what the title was. Yeah, so what the Jews in this context really fear, yeah, it's other religions that are rejecting their Torah, that are rejecting their Jewish God. If someone is a Christian, the Jews like that. Because like I said, they believe there's this middle stage that brings about full-blown Noahidism, that it'll still have the element of idolatry of God worshipped in the form of a man, and that it gradually weans Gentiles off of other gods. And then it brings them to the Torah, the God of Israel, and eventually full-blown Noahidism. But the Jews are supposed to mock Gentiles when the first part of that transitional middle stage happens, because they're still worshiping in God in the form of a man. That's not kosher to Jews, but it is to Gentiles, so that the Jews need to mock them. It's like a humiliation ritual type of thing, because they believe that there's this Jacob and Esau relationship. the two brothers, the Jews and the Gentiles, and that they mock the Gentiles when there's this transitional stage going on for idolatry, and that the Gentiles will persecute or mock whatever them, and that proves they're the chosen people. That's what they believe. I think all of that is nuts. I don't believe in any Jewish scriptures. I don't believe in the Torah. I don't believe in the Talmud, the Bible, the Zohar, none of that. I'm a Buddhist. Buddhism has scriptures from India, China, Tibetan stuff. So, yeah, it's totally removed from Israel. Christianity, however, it's all from Israel. So, of course, it's Jewish. Yeah, so I don't follow any Jewish scriptures, just like how a pagan doesn't follow Jewish scriptures. You don't have any pagans that are Zionists. Like, it's basically 0% of pagans are Zionists. Same with Buddhists. But almost 100% of Zionists that exist, they are Christians. That's where, like, the foot soldier army for Israel comes from. It comes from Christianity. It serves exactly what controlled opposition does. It serves them all while simultaneously all under the guise of opposing them, because that's how controlled opposition works. It seems like it's opposing them, but it's not. There's an ulterior motive going on. And part of that, the fact that people think it opposes Zionism, Israel, that's part of how it draws people to it. Because that's also part of how controlled opposition works. People think, oh wow, this is the opposition, this is cool, I'm gonna follow that. But then they don't notice. They don't see the broader scope, the bigger picture of what's happening. That if they play into that, they're serving them. That it's only controlled opposition. Yep. Really heavy stuff, I know. But I'm talking about this more because they're trying to censor me now on Twitter after I posted that video. Yeah, so all these people that think they get censored if they post Christ is King, they're wrong. They're not getting censored. They're getting. You go on Twitter, on X, and you go to the news feed. There are all these huge accounts where those are getting shilled, those are getting boosted, advertised, the Christ is King post. But if you're like me and you make a video refusing to be blunt, this psyop, this goy slop psyop agenda, if you refuse to go along with it, then you get censored. Then you get these reach restriction labels. You never hear about these big influencer types that post Christ is King getting these restriction labels for their reach. They might claim, oh, they lost a blue check mark. Those blue check marks don't seem to do anything. I have a blue check mark, but I'll get these reach restriction labels. Yeah, so then my posts are restricted where people can't see what I'm posting or if I'm posting a video. But these big influencer accounts, they'll claim, oh, their blue check mark got taken away. But it's still, all their posts are still boosted by the algorithm. Their reach doesn't seem to be decreased one iota. Yeah, not at all. Their visibility is still massively boosted. So this is what's really going on. And part of why, well, I guess the whole reason why they give you these reach restriction labels is because they fear that you're going to go viral. Because like I said, I started getting all these likes and retweets, and then all of a sudden, boom, my reach got restricted. I got one of the labels. Well, I guess that's all for now. I wanted to do this follow-up video because it's important to talk about. It's important to talk about the truth and about what's really going on and about all these psyops, no matter how controversial, especially if they're controversial. It's the controversial ones you should be talking about the most, and this is the most controversial of them all. Well, that's all for now. Peace out, everybody. Bye.